Bathed in the relentless glow of royal attention, the relationship between King Charles and Camilla has always carried an air of complexity and quiet debate. What once seemed like an unshakable union now appears to have reached an unforeseen turning point, sending ripples of surprise through both Buckingham Palace and the wider public. King Charles and Camilla are said to be moving forward on separate paths, a shift few address openly. Yet many quietly sense what unfolding forces brought them to this crossroads, and what truly transpires behind the velvet drapery of the crown. Here is the deeper story. No one can truly pinpoint the moment when the quiet fractures first began to surface. Was it the unrelenting pressure of expectation, the intricate dynamics within palace walls, or perhaps the growing distance formed in unspoken moments? If this perspective resonates with you, drop a 1-inch the comments. If you see it another way, leave a 0 below. And as you settle in to enjoy the story, don't forget to hit subscribe. Your support fuels the journey and inspires even more compelling stories ahead. But I am deeply thankful that you reached out for me. That brief exchange could not mend the fractures of the past, yet it offered Charles the faintest trace of comfort. At the same time, it sharpened his awareness of what Camilla's departure had truly cost, the absence of the woman who had given her entire life to stand beside him. When the call ended, Charles remained seated in the darkness, his gaze fixed on the quiet void before him, searching for answers he knew would never be found. Within the palace walls, the murmurs continued to drift, no longer fueled by curiosity alone, but now weighted with growing unease about what lay ahead for the monarchy. The quiet withdrawal of Charles, the isolation chosen by Camilla, and the measured restraint of William and Catherine together formed a fragmented picture, each holding unspoken grief, silent calculation, and carefully guarded truths. In the days following Camilla's departure, Buckingham Palace was stirred by unseen turbulence, delicately concealed behind impeccably worded public statements. Behind closed doors and along the palace's shadowed corridors, senior advisors gathered in urgent consultation, working swiftly to shield the institution from a crisis threatening to surface beyond the stone walls. A daring suggestion has reportedly emerged from a high-ranking advisor known for forward-thinking views, to redefine Camilla's position into that of a ceremonial consort rather than a reigning queen. The proposal has instantly stirred intense debate. Supporters believe it could allow her to remain connected to the crown while easing the strain on Charles's public standing, particularly while public sentiment remains divided. Traditionalists, however, view the idea as an unacceptable blow, one that would symbolically diminish her status and blur the clarity of her place within the monarchy. In those closed-door discussions, Charles remained wordless, yet the conflict within him was impossible to hide. Seated at the head of the table, his gaze lingered on the neatly arranged papers as though a hidden solution might be concealed between the lines. His thoughts drifted back to the vows he had spoken to Camilla in 2005 beneath the quiet skies of Windsor. "I will never let you face life alone." Now, that pledge felt painfully fractured. When the advisors finally pressed him for a decision, Charles spoke at last, his voice weighed down by quiet anguish. "I cannot bring myself to choose between her and the crown." His quiet was interpreted by some as acceptance, but in truth it reflected the stillness of a man suspended between devotion and responsibility. When news of the proposal reached Camilla through a trusted acquaintance, she issued a brief message from her retreat in Gloucestershire, penned on personal stationery. "I do not require a title to understand my worth." The sentence was spare, yet it carried an unyielding sense of self, echoing the strength of a woman who had once faced the world without retreat. Yet beneath that outward composure, Camilla was said to be quietly breaking. "They are trying to erase me," she confided to a trusted friend, her voice unsteady as she gazed across the rain-drenched garden outside her window. "But I refuse to disappear. From within her retreat, she began keeping a fresh journal, carefully recording her years beside Charles, almost as if she were preserving her own existence before memory and time could quietly take everything away. The world now waits in quiet uncertainty. Will Camilla step back into the light or fade into history as a lingering shadow of the crown? Some see her retreat as a measured pause, a silent maneuver to regain control of her narrative. Others believe she is simply exhausted, worn down by memories that refuse to loosen their grip and by a crown that demands more than any heart can bear. Meanwhile, William and Catherine continue their public duties with polished composure, their smiles precise, their words carefully chosen, standing at the edge of the unfolding storm, steadying the institution while the deeper conflict rages just beyond view. They continue to appear at charitable engagements, welcoming the public and quietly reinforcing the stability of the crown's image. Yet behind closed doors, William is said to have confided to Catherine, "This is something father must face on his own. But if he falters, we must be ready to safeguard the monarchy." Catherine responded with a silent, steady nod, calm, prepared to step forward if fate demanded it. As the balance of influence in London subtly shifts, a single question now lingers heavily over the entire realm. Is Camilla's withdrawal a final closing, or the quiet opening of something far more uncertain? With long-hidden fractures now exposed, the House of Windsor finds itself at a defining moment in history. Within the palace's shadowed halls, subtle currents of change begin to stir, suggesting a struggle not merely for position, but for the deeper identity of the monarchy itself. And somewhere within the echoes of memory, the figures of Diana, Harry, and now Camilla continue to linger, enduring imprints of a crown shaped as much by human emotion as by royal tradition. As King Charles III remains locked in a private struggle caught between the weight of the crown and the ache of a fractured heart, Prince William, the heir to the throne, is already moving in silence, setting the earliest foundations for what comes next. Behind the tranquil facade of Kensington Palace, amid its calm gardens and softly lit rooms, a subtle transformation is quietly taking shape, the beginning of a new chapter unfolding far from the noise of the world. Within a secluded meeting chamber, where tall windows poured soft light across composed, serious faces, William quietly led a confidential gathering to introduce what would later be known as the Royal Image Renewal Strategy. Thoughtfully developed alongside the Princess of Wales, Catherine, the initiative focuses on forward-looking values, emotional well-being, environmental responsibility, and other urgent concerns they believe can restore the monarchy's connection with a younger generation and a society searching for meaning and renewal. Before the gathered advisors, William's voice carried calm firmness and quiet authority. "We do not rewrite history, and we do not erase any individual," he said. "We move forward to safeguard the monarchy and keep it relevant in the world of today." Camilla's name never passed his lips, yet the space she left behind was palpable to everyone in the room. The advisors sensed his careful balance, showing deference to his father while, at the same time, subtly guiding the institution toward a future no longer shaped by Camilla's presence or the long shadows of earlier controversies. Though formally invited to attend, Charles replied only with a short message sent through his private secretary. "I place my faith in my son." He gave his approval to the initiative without proposing a single change, yet his restraint carried a deeper weight than any spoken objection. Later, in a quiet exchange at Clarence House, as William briefed him on the unfolding plans, Charles placed a tired hand upon his son's shoulder. "You are accomplishing what I never found the strength to do," he said softly, his words heavy with both pride and lingering sorrow. But never forget, Camilla is not the adversary. She has given up far more than you may ever fully see. With that quiet reminder, Charles made it clear that beneath the sorrow and strain, his feelings for Camilla still endured, and he would not allow her to be reduced to a figure to be brushed aside. With her characteristic grace and sensitivity, Kate carefully positioned herself as a bridge between father and son, shaping public messages that paid respect to Charles's reign, while, with subtle precision, guiding the narrative toward William's emerging vision for the future of the monarchy. At a mental health charity gathering, Kate stood before the audience with a presence that was both gentle and assured. The monarchy is more than a symbol of the past. It is a guiding light for what lies ahead. We are here to hear your voices, to stand with you, and to shape a brighter future together, she said. In the wake of the uncertainty surrounding Camilla, the public's confidence began to shift toward the younger generation. Commentators in The Telegraph and The Guardian soon hailed William and Kate as the embodiment of fresh optimism and steady renewal. Yet the quiet imprint of Camilla still hangs in the background, a lingering reminder of what the palace has quietly surrendered. Charles, though carrying the weight of loss, has slowly returned to limited public appearances. The sorrow in his eyes now shares space with a new steadiness, as if he has accepted that preserving the crown requires endurance, even when the heart is wounded. Meanwhile, William and Kate, moving with deliberate care and quiet precision, continue to shape the contours of a renewed monarchy. Still, they understand one truth cannot be undone. The presence of Camilla and of Diana will forever remain woven into the soul of the royal story. Under the rare glow of summer sunlight on the day of the Color Parade, one of the monarchy's most majestic annual ceremonies, London's skies shimmered with celebration. Buckingham Palace, adorned with rippling flags and stirred by the call of ceremonial trumpets, once again became the focal point of the nation's attention. Yet when King Charles III appeared alone on the balcony in his vivid red uniform, a quiet sorrow lingered unmistakably in his expression. Beside him, William, Kate, and their children George, Charlotte, and Louis stood smiling with polished grace. But the space where Camilla should have been felt strikingly empty, an absence noted not only by the crowd below, but by every lens of the world's media. A shopper in a nearby district shared with a BBC correspondent, "I was never fond of Camilla, but seeing her vanish like this makes you question what truly unfolded behind the scenes." Meanwhile, in the quiet of his private office at Clarence House, Charles turned over a modest ring Camilla had once given him for an anniversary simple in design, yet heavy with memory. Etched inside were the words, "Forever, together." Now it felt less like a promise and more like an echo of what had slipped away. "I still care for her," he admitted softly to a trusted aide, his voice thick with emotion as his eyes drifted toward the light at the window. "But I cannot hold on to her without risking the fragile balance of everything built around us." Allowing Camilla to fade quietly from view became the silent cost he accepted to protect the stability of the crown. Yet that choice carved an emptiness within him that no title or throne could ever heal. From her retreat in Gloucester, Camilla now lives in near seclusion, but she has not disappeared entirely. A trusted friend has revealed that she has begun writing a memoir, each page shaped by long, restless nights, as she seeks to tell her own story in her own voice. She wants the world to understand that she was never an enemy of anyone's happiness, her friend shared gently, with quiet compassion. She is simply a woman who loved deeply and paid a far greater cost than anyone ever imagined. In her memoir, Camilla looks back on the years beside Charles, the moments she silently shielded him, the solitude of being cast as an outsider. Yet she also writes of the slow rise of her disappointment of the times he placed the crown before their bond, and of her departure not as an escape, but as a final act of choosing her own freedom. William and Catherine continue to guide the monarchy toward a more contemporary path through fresh initiatives and forward-thinking projects. all while maintaining deep respect for Charles's role and legacy. At every public appearance, from healthcare visits to environmental programs, they make a point of emphasizing that their efforts align with the king's broader vision. Yet behind closed doors, William is said to have quietly reflected to Kate, "We are shaping what lies ahead, but we cannot undo what has already been lived. Father still needs time, and it's our duty to allow him that space." Kate, ever guided by her quiet insight, responded with a resolute nod. She understood that protecting the crown meant walking a delicate line between renewal and allegiance. From afar in California, Prince Harry followed the events with mixed emotions. He offered no public statement on Camilla's departure, choosing silence instead, but privately, he sent his father a brief message. "I hope you're holding up." Though simple, the words carried meaning, revealing that despite lingering hurt, the bond between father and son had not been completely severed. Yet he continues to keep a careful distance. Even the sound of his voice, carried through a brief call, holds the power to reopen emotions long left unspoken. Within the dim corridors of the palace, quiet murmurs still drift through the stone halls, reflecting the uncertainty of what lies ahead. The throne, no matter how radiant its image, forever carries the silhouettes of those who have stood near it. The separation of King Charles and Camilla is no longer just a story of personal sorrow. It has come to represent the deeper trials now facing the very heart of the British royal family. Through the visible cracks of both emotion and institution, the monarchy now finds itself balanced at a defining threshold called to change, yet bound to preserve. However this chapter ultimately resolves, one reality is certain: the imprint they have left will endure in both memory and history. And as the light of transformation continues to rise, the world will remain watching, waiting to see how the next foundations are carefully set to shape a crown that seeks strength through unity once more.